The full force of yoga. Yoga is a science of living that has improved the lives of countless thousands for centuries. Its benefits are almost magical. One reason that yoga has such transformative power is that its theories and practices address every facet of who we are: physical, mental, and spiritual. The physical aspect, represented by the asana, pranayama, deep relaxation techniques, and cleansing practices. Hatha yoga can foster better health, greater energy, flexibility, strength, and every organ and system in the body is brought to balance, and the body is brought into harmony with the mind. At the mental level, a calmer, clearer, more joyful, focused mind and a more open, loving, compassionate heart can lead to improved ability to learn, greater compassion, greater creativity, increased ability to handle life's stresses, more harmonious relationships, improved decision-making and problem-solving abilities, increased financial prosperity, and increased sense of meaning and purpose in life. On the spiritual level, yoga can lead to the end of suffering, the experience of oneness, attainment of self-realization. That is an incredible array of benefits. But many make the mistake of looking at the list like an arithmetic problem in which numbers in the first two categories add up to and inevitably lead to the spiritual benefits listed at the end. This is not necessarily the case. The health, peace, joy, love, and prosperity that the physical and mental practices of yoga can bring still cannot erase the root cause of suffering. Reduce it, yes. Make for a nice, full life, certainly. But it will not really do enough to mitigate the painful effects of realities such as disease, old age, and death. Why can't all the wonderful physical and mental benefits brought by yoga erase suffering? When we explore the spiritual level, the most refined and elevated level of yoga, we need to begin asking ourselves not, what can yoga do for me? But rather, what can I do to tap into the full force of yoga? The force that can put an end to all my fears, anxieties, and worries. Our automatic answer to the above question is usually, yes, of course, if there's anything I can do to alleviate my suffering a little, or better yet, avoid it, I'll do it. Who wouldn't? Next, we need to ask a really important probing question, the answer to which largely determines our success in attaining the spiritual goals of yoga. Am I really willing to do what it takes? Let's reflect together on the transformative power of yoga, how it can be released in our daily lives, and discover if our understanding, intentions, and efforts are up to unlocking the full force of yoga. If you are ready to experience the full force of yoga, cultivate the following qualities. They are powerful tools and faithful companions in the quest for unshakable happiness. Honesty. Before taking any journey, we need to know two very important things: where we are going and where we are. We have discussed what the spiritual destination is. Now you need to find out where you are. Ask yourself if you are really interested in this, the highest goal of life. Are you willing to make the necessary changes in your attitude and life to achieve it? Or do you still believe that there are other things that can bring you the joy you seek? Courage. Are you willing to live a life that is not, in some ways, conventional? Do you really believe that it is more blessed to give than to receive? Are you ready to use life's intangibles as guides for living your life, or do you trust the tangibles a little bit more? Are you willing to, or at least believe it is possible to, let go of grief, fear, anger, and thoughts of retaliation and vengeful justice? Can you forgive those that hurt you while you help those that persecute you? Are you willing to let your love flow to one and all? Do you have the courage to cultivate a life that reflects all the qualities you admire most? There is a wise quote from the author C.S. Lewis regarding courage as an integral part of developing any virtue. Quote, "Courage is the form of every virtue at its testing point." Unquote. Go within, find your inherent spiritual strength, and act according to what's good and beneficial for all. Knowledge. It helps to study at least a little to keep the mind focused on the goal and the path. Study can also inspire us. Inspiration is the fuel for living the yoga life. Read various commentaries of sacred texts and the biographies of great sages and saints. Integrity. This means to practice what you preach. Are your thoughts, words, and actions in harmony? If not, look within to assess how you really feel and be vigilant that your words and actions conform not necessarily to what most people expect, but to spiritual principles. Practicality. Think of yourself as serving God through all your daily activities. It's not a child crying in the next room. It is God. It is not your family you need to work to support. It is God. Dedicate the fruits of your actions to God in the form of your life partner, children, supervisor, friends, the surly policeman who gives you a speeding ticket, the virus that brought a cold to your nose, and the squirrel who eats your tulips. All have come to teach you and to nurture your spiritual aspirations. The lessons may be difficult to discern at times, but they are there. Have patience and keep mindful. The reason why things happen the way they do will one day become clear. One other important point should be made here. We need rest and recreation too. The mind and body can overdo it. Ways to rejuvenate are part of yoga also. Just be sure that whatever rest or diversion you engage in leaves you rested, refreshed, and ready to resume your daily activities. But remember, rest and recreation do not mean a break from your practices. The core of your practices should be continued. Persistence. Your practices are the very foundation of your spiritual life. Do something every day for your health and peace. Don't miss a single day. But if you do, don't dwell on it. Get re-inspired, reboot yourself, and continue the next day. There's a great heroism in having a daily practice. You don't need to find a cave, do austere penances, or fast for 40 days. In fact, in many ways, doing that is easier than maintaining a daily practice. The middle path is yoga. Even if you slip 10,000 times, never give up. No one has succeeded from the beginning. Loving kindness. Live to serve others. There is joy in serving, not from serving, but rather in serving. There is a love inside you that is like an inferno that will obliterate all your mistakes, weaknesses, every trace of selfishness, and every limitation that stands in the way of self-realization. But this love is not a simple emotion. It is not so much a feeling, but our instinctive impulse to selfless action. Love is never idle. It seeks the benefit of everyone. It is a one-way street of giving without expecting any expression of gratitude in return. Love is its own reward. Love is the opposite of separation, fragmentation, and alienation. It is the force of oneness. It is eternal, never born, and undying. Love is God, and God is love. Love is who you are. Love is your true nature. Don't wait for that feeling of love to manifest before you act. Love works the opposite way. It flows in and through you when you serve others. Give, give, and give. And don't forget to love yourself, too. You are as worthy of unconditional love as anyone. Open yourself to selfless love daily. Find ways of expressing it through active service, prayer for others, charity, and sharing the teachings of yoga. So, our conclusion, follow the simple way. If experiencing the full force of yoga sounds appealing to you, if these principles light even a small fire in your heart, your ultimate peace and joy is certain. Every day, practice at least some hatha yoga, take brisk walks, eat a more balanced yoga diet, do something to improve your health. Meditate, pray, chant, engage in any practice to calm, clear, and focus your mind. Be wary of the feeling of ownership. It makes the mind more petty and limited. As Master Sri Gurudev Swami Satchidananda often said, everything you call mine is ready to explode one day or another. You have to diffuse those minds if you want to find peace in your life. How? Change your minds to thines. Discover the joy of serving others without any personal expectations of gain or gratitude. Do something for the sake of others. Let these practices and principles grow in you, and you will grow with them. Give them the proper environment of knowledge, patience, perseverance, and regular association with fellow seekers who can support and help guide you. This is the yoga life. This is how to experience the full force of yoga.